Hello and welcome. I'm Harriet Agbini. Tonight, the Nigerian Air Force plans special operations in its fight against terrorism, pipeline vandalism and other crimes across the country. The federal government to implement reward system in the civil service challenges public servants on innovative ideas. In continuation of our review of 2016, tonight we'll focus on the power sector. And Ghana gets a new president as Nana Akufo-Addo is sworn in. On business news tonight, Nigeria's debt offers to sell 430 billion naira bonds in the first quarter of 2017.
On sports news tonight, Novak Djokovic withstands comeback from Andy Murray, beating the Britons 6-3, 5-7 and 6-4 in Doha to retain his Qatar Open title.
We'll begin tonight with a new resolve by the Nigerian Air Force to tackle pipeline vandalism, cattle rustling, terrorism, armed robbery and other security issues that are still a cause for concern to security operatives in Nigeria. To achieve this, the Nigerian Air Force wants to boost its operations to combat pipeline vandalism in the Niger Delta, in Ikorodu in Lagos and Arepo in Ogun State, as well as other security threats. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, during a media briefing in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, was emphatic that the force will stop at nothing to protect the lives and property of the citizens.
There is no denying the fact that the challenge of insecurity in various parts of the country is enormous. But the nation's security forces appear equal to the task of ensuring that criminal elements are checked. It is the beginning of a new year, and security operatives are taking stock of their strategies in 2016 and re-strategizing. This is what informed the gathering of the top hierarchy of the Nigerian Air Force here in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, which has been the epicenter of the war against insurgency in the country.
We make sure now that we fly day and night to make sure that these people are not regrouping. And from the pictures we have seen in the last few days, we have not seen anybody in the Visa Forest. We are closely monitoring day and night, and when we pick anybody, if at all we feel that what we are picking is a threat to our ground troops and our communities, we'll get fighter aircrafts to engage those targets. We in the Air Force, we are not only fighting in the air, we also have ground forces that are fighting side by side with the Army and the Navy. So I want to congratulate you once more, and I hope that in 2017 we are going to critically look at every aspect of air operations. Areas of challenges we have identified that we need to work hard on, because we know that there is no system that is perfect. So we'll do the best, look at what we have done in 2016 and try to add value to whatever we have done so that in 2017 we'll be more effective.
Whether it is Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast, pipeline vandalism in the Niger Delta, Lagos and Ogun State, or armed robbery in different parts of the country, the Nigerian Air Force says its men are battle-ready to flush out these criminal acts.
The overall objective is to improve capabilities, methodologies, and refine processes with a view to ensuring effectiveness and efficiency in the application of air power. The induction of a more modern, night-capable and sophisticated Mi-35M helicopter will enhance the Nigerian Air Force capability for standoff in both day and night conditions. The reactivation of the additional ATR-42, the unmanned combat area vehicle, will boost the Nigerian Air Force ISR and strike capability. For effective air patrol of the wide expanse of Nigerian borders, especially in the northeast, plans have been concluded to establish more forward operating bases as staging posts to provide technical support and increase the radius of action of Nigerian Air Force assets.
With this resolve by the Nigerian Air Force towards stamping out criminal activities and protecting the territorial integrity of the nation in conjunction with other security bodies, Nigerians may well look forward to a more secure nation in 2017.
In the meantime, militant group, the Niger Delta Avengers, have threatened to resume attacks on oil facilities in the region. Now, the group made this known in a statement on its website where it blamed the federal government for failing to open negotiations with it. It had halted attacks on oil infrastructure in the Niger Delta region for the planned negotiations, but has now asked members to, in its words, quote, be high readiness to hit and knock the enemy very hard, unquote. The group also warns that the rest of 2017 will be filled with surprises and a reconfiguration of the struggle for the liberation of their motherland. Meanwhile, Amnesty International is asking the Nigerian government to redouble efforts to ensure the release of the Chibok girls and all other victims of mass abduction in the northeast. In a statement released today by the acting country director for Amnesty International Nigeria, Mahmoud Kamara, the group drew the government's attention to the fact that the girls have remained in captivity for 1,000 days. The demand is coming days after one of the abducted girls, Rekia Gali, was rescued by troops of the Operation Lafia Dole with a 6-month-old child. Her return follows the release of 21 girls by Boko Haram in October last year, a development that the Nigerian government says was the outcome of negotiations with the insurgents. Amnesty International claims it has documented at least 41 other cases of mass abductions by Boko Haram since 2014. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has welcomed the federal government's proposal to renegotiate the 2009 agreement with lecturers, but with a condition. They want the government to come to the negotiating table with sincerity of purpose. The president of ASU, Professor Biodun Ogunyemi, told Channels Television that the union welcomes the call with cautious optimism because the federal government only paid lip service to past negotiations.
We articulated our position as far as budgetary allocation was concerned. In fact, we made it one of our points of demand, and we engaged the National Assembly. And the National Assembly gave us commitment that they will ensure that nothing disastrous comes the way of allocation to education again. But from the executive, so far, we have not seen the sign that government was going to work in line with that, because 2014 budgetary allocation was 12%, 15 it came to 11, 16 it came to 8, and now if we are seeing 5 or 6%, then it means that we have not started. But I don't want to preempt any our forthcoming negotiation. So we will also encourage government to come to the table with sincerity in the best interests of the country, because the essence of calling for negotiation on the part of our union is to reposition our universities. So we welcome the announcement, but we do so with cautious optimism.
Civil servants in the employ of the federal government now have an opportunity to demonstrate their potential in greater measure. And this comes as the head of service of the Federation, Mrs. Winifred Oyoita, says the government is introducing a new reward system to encourage innovations among workers. According to her, when implemented, the strategy will encourage civil servants to put in their best in service and help grow government revenue.
Promotion of staff in the civil service is determined mainly by one's academic qualifications and the number of years one has put in the service. Analysts argue that this method has not encouraged much innovation in the civil service, as many government agencies are unable to generate revenue that will sustain their operations. This is, however, about to change, as the head of service to the Federation explains the federal government's plan to introduce a new reward system that will promote innovation in the civil service.
Goal 3 of this new strategy of the Office of Head of Service is the entrepreneurship, development and commercial orientation in the service. Now you will find out that for so long, the civil service has been viewed as always a cost center to government. And anytime there's a need to reduce cost, the first victim, so to speak, is the civil service or the civil servants. But where we are able to develop innovative ideas for revenue generation to government, this would no longer be the case.
Apart from the rewards, the head of service says the new strategy will also encourage civil servants to put in their best when implemented.
Those workers who bring something to the table in terms of ideas will also have some special considerations. So this would make them more interested in working harder for government.
There are over 90,000 federal civil servants in Nigeria. Obviously, a huge workforce for the government to drive its policies and grow the economy.
Ahead of the planned closure of the Abuja Airport, International Airport, for repair of its runway, the Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, has inspected the Kaduna Airport. The minister, accompanied by some top officials of the Aviation Ministry and the Kaduna State Government, assured passengers that would be using the Kaduna Airport during the period of adequate safety and security.
The Minister of State for Aviation inspecting ongoing work at the new arrival and departure hall, the control tower and the runway of the Kaduna Airport. Beyond the inspection, the contract for the repair work on the Abuja-Kaduna Highway has been awarded and is expected to be completed in good time in order to ease movement of Abuja-bound passengers to and from the Kaduna Airport.
The runway is very good, excellent, in good condition, with all the lights and so on. And the terminal building, to my surprise, it's on the final stages of being completed. And I'm very convinced that within the next few weeks, before the due date, the terminal building will be ready.
The minister also hints that adequate arrangement has been put in place to convey passengers to Abuja by bus or the Kaduna railway station, depending on the choice of the passengers involved.
The president had already approved a sum of money and instructed that repairs be taken immediately. And the Federal Ministry of Transportation and Federal Ministry of Power Works and Housing are committed to it, and they will deliver that road to make it more tolerable. Aviation is an exact science and technology. Therefore, whatever we say will be matched against we will walk our talk and will be matched against our actions.
For the authorities in charge of the relocation and logistics in Kaduna State, the airport is ready to fit the bill.
As soon as the resources are there, they mobilize on time, we supervise them. Everything will be done in a given period of time.
We have made all the necessary arrangements because we put in motion many machineries to make sure that this is success. And we believe in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, if you come to Kaduna, you will see the work that the state government is doing to make sure that our airport is up to standard.
The Abuja Airport is expected to be closed from March 8th to April 19, 2017, and during that time, the Kaduna Airport will serve its purpose.
In part 2, after the break, Nigeria's power sector is in focus as we continue our review of 2016. Please stay with us.